Hey guys and welcome back. So we've all been addicted to something. Some people are addicted to their phone, while others are addicted to crack. Me personally, I was addicted to something really weird, and that really weird thing happened to be arcade games. So when I was really young, I really liked arcade games, like really liked arcade games. So what I would do is I would usually just search them up on YouTube on like how to get gifts or like how to do claw machines. And basically when I was in New Zealand, I would spend a few dollars and just go to the closest claw machine and I would spend it. And most of the times I would just basically waste my money. And in New Zealand, the claw machines were very expensive. They were basically $2 a try, which is very expensive compared to Korea. So in New Zealand, I wouldn't do it that much. I remember one of my first instances, I spent over $25 to get this one big teddy bear. And I remember my brother calling me such an idiot. And I remember me actually feeling like an idiot, but at the same time me feeling so proud of myself for actually achieving something that I really wanted to get. Because I was really poor, I really didn't do much, but when I got into university, I realized I had a bit of money, and I realized that there was actually a claw machine store, because in Korea there are a lot of stores where they just basically focus around claw machines. There was one really close to our dorms. So I decided to take one of my friends and actually go out there and try for myself. I tried around 10 times because the claw machines were actually a lot cheaper. They were actually half the price, $1 a try actually. So I went there, tried a few times, and then when I was kinda losing a lot, one of the people came up to me and asked if they needed some help. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing really good. I was wondering if you could help me. And me talking to this random guy, I realized that he was the owner of the store, and he basically gave me 100 free tries for me to actually practice by myself but not receive anything. So if I won something, I would have to give it back to him, but he gave me 100 tries for me to actually experiment. He also gave me a few tips into getting these toys, one of them being the further away it is from the drop box, the stronger the grip is, which is why oftentimes you would see people actually just dropping it near the drop box and then just using that spinning technique to just push it in. There are a lot of other tips that he taught me, which is why I actually learned a lot on the first time that I met him. And then after that, I decided to go to a different location where I started pick out soft toys left and right, and it was so entertaining and it was so fun to do. So during my first semester in university, I decided to go ham at these soft toys, which is why I got over 53 soft toys in one semester. So in 4 months, I pulled out 53 soft toys, and that was crazy. I remember oftentimes when me and my friends go to the city and we'll go to the claw machine, pick up a few gifts, and then we'll also go to the net cafe as well. After the first semester, I was pretty broke, so I realized that I had to quit this addiction, so I kind of stopped for a long time. But recently, I really got back into it. I really like the idea of pulling a gift out and giving it to one of your friends. Me personally, I don't really like holding these gifts because I actually think soft toys are just a big hassle to just carry around and just leave it in your room, which is why oftentimes I would just get it and then just give it to a friend of mine. But it was so fun just actually getting these out of the machine, because the sound that it plays after you actually receive your prize is just amazing. Some of you guys might think that this is something stupid that I got addicted to, but to be honest, this is actually amazing. Because think about it, you're on a date with this girl. I'm rarely on a date, but if I'm on a date with this girl and I want to impress her, I'll take her to our arcade, we'll have some fun, and then I'll pick out a soft toy that she likes. She'll think it's adorable, and basically we'll be on a second date by no time. But to be honest, that first part, being on a date, is probably the hardest. But besides that, I reckon soft toys are amazing and they can be the best way into a girl's heart. But to be honest, it's not as easy as a lot of people think. There are a lot of other variables that can take in place, which is why oftentimes I wouldn't just straight up do it in front of a girl unless I know the machine well enough, unless I know the store well enough, and unless the toy is at a very good position to be grabbed at. Okay, I know some of you guys are screaming for some advices, and I'll actually just flick out some that I can think off the top of my head to you right now. So the first thing that you have to know is that the machines in every store are very different. But the most common stores, basically what happens is the grip of the claw, how strong it's gonna grab, is dependent on how far it is from the drop box. Basically, the further away it is, the stronger it's gonna grab. And as it gets closer, it's gonna slowly release it, and then basically when it gets close enough to the drop machine, it's basically gonna drop it. And basically, most of the times it gets really close to the drop box, but it doesn't go inside it, which is why oftentimes you would have to kind of pile it up to a point where you can kind of spin the machine and basically push it in. And one thing that you should keep in mind is that every machine is a little different. Some of the machines basically, if you grab it from the right bottom corner while the drop box is on the left top corner, there are some machines that just basically grab it and go straight diagonal, but there are some machines that go left and then go up and puts it in the drop box. So you guys have to really be careful and see what type of claw machine you're working with. And at the same time, some of these machines recently have been changed to this kind of distance strength machines, but some of these are very old traditional, where basically once every 10 or once every 15 or once every 30 goes, the strength will basically double or triple. So basically the setting will be put at like 25% strength at most times. Every 100th go or every 10th go, the strength will go up to 70%. And some of these machines, this was very old type, but this caused a lot of trouble in the public, which is why oftentimes they change it to recent ones where it's just dependent on the distance, but it depends which machine you're working with. Also, another important thing is to think about the soft toy's center of mass. Everybody has a center of mass and everything has a center of mass, and when you look at a soft toy, you might know exactly where the soft toy is. If the soft toy or the character has a really big head, you might think, yes, the soft toy's center of mass is at the head, but that's where you're wrong, because oftentimes in Korea, the soft toys in Korea at least, some of these have a really little sandbag inside the stomach or in the butt or like somewhere near the bottom backside, which is why oftentimes you would have to go towards that. You would usually have to grab the body or something like that, and that usually helps. And another thing to keep in mind is that if you come to Korea and you decide to go with these claw machines, you have to know that depending on the popularity of the soft toy, the harder it is to get. If it is a very charactered soft toy, if it's like an emoticon or like a Pokemon or animation, it's gonna be really hard to get. It's gonna be a lot harder than just your regular teddy bear kind of stuff. Also, remember that even if you go once or twice and it doesn't work, do not be disappointed, because most soft toys aren't grabbed like that. You actually have to use 3 or 4 coins to actually get it, so don't be too disappointed. But when you keep on trying and it doesn't work, you have to know when to give up, when it is a good time to actually just say, no, that's enough and my money is wasted and I'm not going to waste more on it. But I would say one of the most important things among even the pros who are really good at this, if you go to arcade in Korea, maybe one of the Jang Orakshil, and the Jang Orakshil in Korea is basically a Jang arcade place where it's just actually a franchise where they specialize in arcade games, and it's all over Korea. If you go to one of these places, you'll see few people with like huge bags, and they're basically professionals. They go and basically pick out these soft toys for a living. And basically if you go there, you'll see a lot of these people, but what they are really good at and what other people are really not good at is picking out or seeing where and which toys are really gettable and which soft toys they think is easier to get. And this is basically called scouting amongst these people, and I use it as well. Basically you look around, you stay back, and you see people attempt a machine. If they attempt it hard enough, if they attempt it long enough, there are some people who keep on trying and basically give up. And then when they give up, you go in and take the sweep. And there are some people who like really give up in the last minute, and it's like the easiest way they could win, but they really don't, and they actually just give up, which is why scouting is very important. You just stay back, stay low, and just watch other people fail for a bit, and then when they give up, you take their toy. Think about this, a toy is needed around 7 tries to get it out, but some people only try 5 times and then basically give up. So you basically only have to add 2 more to basically get that soft toy, and that's what a lot of these people are really good at. Which is why oftentimes these people actually go to big arcade places where there are a lot of people trying and a lot of people failing. But the problem is that a lot of these big places, they actually make the arcade machines a lot harder, which is why I wouldn't really recommend it, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I would actually really like to show you guys how I actually do this with a video, but that might be at a later time, because as you guys know, this is all about radio and podcasts, so maybe that is gonna come up in the future time. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Feel free to subscribe, like and share and comment and do whatever the hell you want if you want to. Anyways, thanks guys, and ciao for now.